Bene, riprendiamo i lavori. Torno di nuovo alla lingua inglese. So let's switch back to English and welcome back everyone for these three sessions that will follow and will anticipate the final and concluding session of the forum before the lunch. 3 sessions dedicated to 3 specific geographical areas that have particular interest for the action of Cyber 4.0, but also that represent strategic areas of international cooperation for our government, for Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So these are areas where specific initiatives have been developed in the cyber domain. First off, we start with Africa, and the session which is called Cyber Capacity Building in Africa, Digital Security, Innovation, and Development. Now, for this session, let me call our distinguished panelists, Mr. Alexander Opong, who is Director Capacity Building and Cybersecurity Authority, Director Capacity Building of the Cybersecurity Authority of Ghana. Madame Kizom Ngodup Masali, I hope I pronounced it well, who is the Director of the AI Hub for Sustainable Development and Head of Digital and AI Programs at UNDP. Sergio FUMAGALLI, who is a Senior Advisor on Data Protection, Security, Sustainability, and AI Ethics, and member of the Scientific Committee of CLUSIT. And Lorenzo Scatena, who is Secretary General of Fondazione Amaldi. So, Africa, we said. Well, when we talk about Africa and digital, of course, we are talking about a continent who is in an incredibly fast growth, double-digit growth since many years now. So it's the fastest growing digital market, a land of many opportunities for cooperation in the digital ecosystem, in the digital global ecosystem, and a land of young people. Africa has been mentioned several times as the leading continent of this 21st century, because there will be a demographic boom, whereas other continents are instead suffering the opposite phenomenon, so shrinking of young, also labor force. So this will shape the future, and we have to be ready to tackle this phenomenon. So we are particularly happy to have 4 very different actors in the ecosystem of cooperation with the African continent. And we would start with Alexander Opong. Alexander is the head of cybersecurity capacity building at the Cybersecurity National Authority of Ghana. Cyber 4.0 has a particular relationship with Ghana and especially with the Cybersecurity Authority due to the project that has been funded by our Ministry of Foreign Affairs in a bilateral cooperation for strengthening cyber capabilities and cooperate on digital matters with Ghana. So I would ask Alexander to tell us more about the scenario and the cooperation that he thinks worthwhile with the Italian government, with Cyber 4.0, but also how you see the role of cyber capacity building in Africa and in Ghana as a leading country in Africa on these matters.
Thank you, Matteo. Good morning, everyone. As has already been introduced, you want to stay here? Okay, right. My name, as said, is Alex Opong. I am the director responsible for capacity building and awareness creation in Ghana. Work as an employee of the Cybersecurity Authority. Now, in 2024, for those of you who are familiar with the ITU's Global Cybersecurity Index, Ghana was rated as a tier 1 country, which is basically in the same sphere as Italy. It's just that for us, we didn't get a perfect score like Italy got. I know Italy got a perfect score of 100%. We scored 99.2%, not 0.27%. Now, it's for a number of reasons why we got to where we are. And I would want to, before I get to the collaboration and the cooperation that we've had together with Italy, I would like to run us through a little bit of history in terms of Ghana's cybersecurity journey. So way back in 2011, the minister then of communications, who was responsible then for cybersecurity matters, decided that we needed to put together a national cybersecurity policy and strategy. There were some laws that were covering areas like data protection and cybercrime, but there was nothing specific for cybersecurity. So in 2011, the first drafts went through, but it took until about 2016 before we were able to actually adopt it fully. Now, some of the recommendations within that policy included getting cybersecurity institutionalized within the nation. At that point, we had appointed a national cybersecurity advisor who happens to be a product of Italian education, or basically he schooled in Italy. He actually got his undergraduate degree from the University of Trento. And then I was made from then onwards, his name being Dr. Albert Entribusiako, was made the first Director General of the Cybersecurity Authority, which was then established in 2021 by the Cybersecurity Act, which was written into law or adopted into law in 2020. Now, during the period from 2017, when the National Cybersecurity Advisor was appointed, Ghana, knowing that we needed the cooperation of international from the international level, signed up to a number of conventions. We signed the Budapest Convention, which is the Convention on Cybercrime, and then we also signed the AU's Malibu Convention, which is the AU's Convention on Cybersecurity and Data Privacy and Protection. These relationships helped us to develop, and it was an institutional or architecture within Ghana. So if you look at today's Ghana's architecture in terms of cybersecurity, we have the president heading it, supported by an advisory board from the private sector and the public sector. Then you have the governing board, which is made up, interestingly, and includes four state ministers: the Minister of Defense, the Minister of the Interior, the Minister of Communications, and the Minister for National Security. What makes this important? It shows the intent that Ghana had at the time. And so basically it means that we took cybersecurity matters very, very seriously. During that time, as part of capacity building, Ghana actually, like other countries, in October, celebrates the National Cybersecurity Awareness Month, in which nationally we basically invite people from all sectors and have different programs over the whole month of October, sensitizing people on cyber hygiene, developing the skills of some of the professionals, and also ensuring that we find time to engage some of our international partners like the Council of Europe and also other organizations. Now, Ghana's 4 main pillars when it comes to cyber awareness creation is built on 4 main pillars: children, the public, businesses, and government. And when we are developing programs, this is where we basically happen to develop them. In times past, and in the current government has also created a number of capacity building initiatives. One of them, the latest one, is the 1 million coders, in which the government has targeted in the next 4 to 5 years, building the capacity.
Batteries. No, I think it works. Try. I think
Yes, this works. Yes, sorry about that. In which the government, from the next few years, is looking to develop the skills of the young professionals, both in cybersecurity and technology in general, of 1 million of them within those years. Early this year, Ghana's also developed an AI strategy, the first of its kind in Ghana. And one of the good things is about basically the AI strategies, because it engaged a whole lot of stakeholders from both the public and the private sector. I think sometimes one of the things, or most people would hear about Ghana because Ghana in 2023 was the first country to host the global conference on cyber capacity building. Most of you probably would have come to Accra, and out of that particular event was signed a framework for capacity building called the Accra Call. Now, I'm being very, very conscious about the time because I do have quite a fair bit to say, but I think I'll now come to what's in 2024. A delegation from Ghana came to this very university. There was a meeting with Professor Machetti, okay, and basically our minister at the time wanted to establish some kind of partnership between Ghana and the university, knowing the kind of advancements and that Italy has moved in terms of its technology development and also in cybersecurity. And what we were looking to do is see whether we could get some of our professionals coming to do certain specialized courses within Italy with that kind of relationship. I should also mention that in terms of being able to identify our professionals, Ghana is was the second country that has actually put out a regime to license all its cybersecurity service providers and also accredit all its professionals. We're second behind Singapore, and I think probably the third country is Malaysia. And because of that, we are able to easily identify the skill set that we have and the kind of capabilities that we have within the country. It means, and this is the very reason why we believed having a collaboration with Italy would be very good for us. So in the Cyber 4.0 collaboration, the key things that we're looking at is, as I stated, we do have a national cybersecurity policy and strategy, but it's the implementation of it. We are looking to learn from the way Italy has done implemented its strategy, and also try to learn from those particular skills, as well as develop our skills, especially when it's coming to building the capacity of the nation in general. Lucky for us in the law, we have 2 main stakeholder groups that we have. So we have what we refer to as the Joint Cybersecurity Committee, which is essentially made up of 18 government institutions that have a stakehold in Ghana's cybersecurity. And we also have what is referred to as the Ghana Cybersecurity Industry Forum, which is made up of private sector, academia, and as well as civil society as well. It means that when we have discussions about cybersecurity, we are able to focus on these particular groups and be able to come up with something solid. So as part of this, our collaboration or the cooperation initiative that we are having with, what we have with Cyber 4.0, it's these two groups that met in April to be able to sit down and understand what Ghana needed and what we could implement as part of our also the national strategy, and learn from those particular areas. I think the outcome that we need to do is basically ensure that we are basically having, and it's something that I know we are basically going to benefit from this collaboration. And I'm aware that was basically we are looking to meet again in October to be able to kind of seal up all the initiatives. So between now and October, there are going to be a number of things that we intend to have as part of this collaboration with the Italian government. This is the first of its kind where two ministries of, two foreign ministries have signed up an agreement to be able to develop or collaborate in cybersecurity. I've noticed that my time is up, so I'll pass this on. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Alexander. Incredible journey that I had the pleasure to see live in different capacities that Ghana did, but also I'm very happy that we could establish this direct link and this bilateral cooperation so that we can both learn from each other and as both countries are tier 1 countries, and we can share experiences and contribute to our reciprocal growth. So thank you very much. And Ghana is also one of the priority countries in the Mattei Plan. And when we talk in the Mattei Plan in this context of Cyber 4.0, of course, we cannot not mention the AI Hub for Sustainable Development, which is a flagship initiative, I would say, in the Mattei Plan, funded by the Ministry of Enterprises and Made in Italy and implemented by UNDP. So, and actually addressing a number of African countries. So, Cyber 4.0 is a partner of the AI Hub. We are a proud partner of the AI Hub, let me say. So it's a pleasure to leave the floor now to Kizom for an introduction to this initiative, where I anticipate that some of our partners that are sitting in the audience already know this initiative because we launched like very recently an internal call to our associates to contribute to the AI Hub. But Kizom, please tell us more.
Hello, everybody. And I think it's still morning. Yes, 2 minutes to noon. So good morning, buongiorno, everybody. And I did want to tell you that Minister George was here at the opening of the AI Hub for Sustainable Development in June last year, as were some of you that I see as familiar faces around the room. My name is Kesom, and I am part of the United Nations Development Program. I think I have 3 slides, Matteo. Yes. Well, firstly, just thank you so much for having me here to Cyber 4.0, to this very important forum, which I understand started yesterday. I'm also really thrilled, as I was telling Matteo, that I'm thrilled to be here at Louis University. The last time I was here was when the administrator, who's the head of the United Nations Development Program, Alexander De Croo, former Prime Minister of Belgium, was here signing a partnership with Louis University. So always a fantastic place to visit, and thank you so much for letting me come here and share some thoughts with you. Well, firstly, as you can see, the entire conversation that we are leading as part of the Italy Africa Mattei plan is to reframe the conversation on not asking whether AI and along with it the benefits, but also the risk, some of the risk which we will talk about, will arrive in Africa, but rather the consequential question is the one that determines who wins, who loses from this transition, and that to answer that question is really who builds it, who owns it, and who benefits in steering this important technology, and with it, its benefits and risk. Now, as you can see, on the slide, this is a very important question that the AI Hub for Sustainable Development was set up to answer in practice. You just heard from the previous speaker that the big opportunity always is on implementations, because there are a lot of dialogues, and this is where, at least as international people, we like coming to Italy because there's a lot of concreteness and practicality to the conversations. The AI Hub is a G7 endorsed initiative. It is co-led by the Ministry of Enterprises and Made in Italy and UNDP, and it is aligned with the Italy-Africa Mate plan. And this itself is a signal of the political commitment to the partnership that is real and backed by institutional architecture. In essence, we are a partnership engine. Our job is to bring African and G7 private sector and public sector partners together and to build and diffuse artificial intelligence in practical, inclusive, and sustainable ways. And we have moved really fast in the last couple months since we launched in Rome. We work across 16 countries. We have distributed a number of compute hours in partnership with both big techs, but also Italy's supercomputing facility. And what we have found out is that Africa has the talent, as you've already heard. It has the ambition, it has the market need. What has been missing is the infrastructure, including the infrastructure of trust and resilience to turn that potential into scale. And this is what we are building in partnership with Cyber 4.0. So what is Cyber 4.0? And I want to talk about it because it illustrates exactly the kind of thinking that makes the difference between how to make AI work rather than let AI create new vulnerabilities. Together with Cyber 4.0, we've just launched Cyber for Africa. It's a 6-month cybersecurity resilience program designed for and with Africa's private sector, including from Ghana. So we're thrilled that you are also here today. And I want to explain why we did this, because if you look at the African AI ecosystem, there's a real risk that the trust layer can get skipped. And I think that has also been the clarion call that Europe has made across all its AI dialogues. We know that startups move fast. We know that investors want traction. We know that governments will want visible results, whether in Ghana, in Italy, and across the world. And in that environment, security becomes something you can add later after you've scaled, after you have procurement contracts, after you have embedded it into health systems, financial systems. And imagine, the implications of this. And I can quote you a number from East Africa where 27% of mobile money users in East Africa, they're locked out of their accounts every month, and it takes about, close to 3 weeks to resolve it. And we are seeing that when AI is adopted into these private sector and public sector systems before the accountability mechanisms is fit for purpose, it's not that they don't exist, it's because they exist, but in the wrong ways, that you have 3 weeks of delays to open up an account that you have to use every day as a smallholder farmer, as a micro entrepreneur across East Africa and in large parts of the world. So Cyber 4.0 is our answer to that. It is to embed security into AI development lifecycle, working with the private sector from the beginning, and not as a compliance layer, but as a trust layer, as a market-making layer. And this program is going to run across 3 tracks: cyber resilience, capacity building, and the technical and operational support. And it focuses on the sectors where we have the highest stakes, where people will lose out or businesses will lose out if we don't focus on them. And that includes fintech, health, energy, many of the priority sectors that the Italy-Africa Mattei plan have also prioritized. And you know, the argument that we have collectively sought out to make is that cybersecurity is not separate from AI diffusion. It is a condition for it. An AI system that cannot be trusted, that is not resilient, is not an asset. Security, safety, and accountability are foundations for adoption and for large-scale diffusion, through which you can see the benefits of this tremendous technology, AI. Now, in closing, I think I just want to leave you with some resources. At the AI Hub for Sustainable Development, and really taking inspiration from the Italy-Africa Mattei plan, we frame our interventions as unlocking resources for today while building the foundations for tomorrow. And what we are building at the AI Hub, along with Cyber 4.0 and many of the partners, including the government of Ghana and so many stakeholders across the world, is not a program, it's an architecture where the structural conditions that is going to allow this powerful technology to demonstrate its benefit for society, the human value, the business value, is only going to come with greater resilience. And I'm so thrilled that we are doing this in partnership with Italy, with Ghana, and the private sector. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Kizom, for the initiative, for having invited Cyber 4.0 to join the initiative, and for supporting also this first experience that we are going to have with this program, Cyber for Africa program. At the moment, limited to 6 months, but then we will see how it goes. I mean, the limit to 6 months is just to assess how it goes, and then eventually adjust something for the following steps. We would like to have almost permanent engagement with the AI Hub, so this is something that we value very much. Thank you very much. Let's move to the next speaker, Sergio FUMAGALLI, Senior Advisor and member of the Scientific Committee of CLUSIT. So CLUSIT is one of the associates of Cyber 4.0 and is very well known in this audience for the national job that is conducted in terms of survey analysis of the scenario. How is CLUSIT now engaged with Africa?
Good morning. Well, it's past, but anyway, good morning and thanks for inviting us to talk this morning. I'm here with two hats on my head. And one is the one that Matteo mentioned just now, and is about CLUSIT, and I will spend some words later on. And the second hat is related to another activity. Okay, thank you, maybe. Giusto? Okay. And the second hat is related to this NGO that's called Alice for Children, where I'm part of the direction, and what we are doing basically in Nairobi, in Kenya. I will talk about skills and skills development, basically. And I'll tell you an experience that started in Nairobi, more than 20 years ago. Alice for Children is running since then, since the beginning of the year 2000, is running schools in Nairobi. And currently they are following more than 4,000 guys, girls, boys, very young, from 3 years old up to the secondary school at 17, 18 years old. Inside this experience, they have developed a particular attention to digital. Digital seen as an opportunity to get a job, to change the people's life, to have an opportunity to change the people's life. And this attention to digital started with what they call Alice Digital School, which is an additional training that is run during the secondary school with a supplementary training on digital. People that don't have probably electricity at home, this is a situation, get involved with the PC, with technology, they start learning the basics and so on. And this started in, as you can see, started in 2024. It's at the very beginning and is running. On this initiative taken by Alice for children some years ago, Clusid started a cooperation. And so we, thanks to the initiative of Gabriele Fagioli and the secretary, Paolo Giudice, the secretary of Clusid, but based on that, we set up an additional initiative on digital. After the secondary school, we developed a digital academy. That is, after ending the secondary school, there is a 1-year session, as you can see, full time, where the girls and the boys get involved very professionally in the digital and digital security, cybersecurity topics. And this is the first year. We started last March, and now there are, as you can see, there are 12 people that are doing everyday sessions on cybersecurity. And this is as the goal to address a need of competencies that is, everybody tells us, is a key point for the development in Kenya, but also in Italy. But in Kenya, they have a lot of girls and boys, while in Italy we have not so many. So there is a difference on this point. So this is what we did. And what did Clusid for this? So first of all, we started developing a sort of sensibilization of the professional, of the cybersecurity professional, of the community of Clusid on Africa as a future strategic issue. And for instance, this year during the Security Summit, maybe someone of you attended this event, we had a session on Africa. Was the first one, was preliminary, very high level, but was a way to get involved somehow. And then we, with Alice for Children, helped Alice for Children to develop the training course for the academy, and to talk with the teachers that is a company, a local company that runs education in Kenya, that has been involved, and we have discussed with them on the training course and so on. And then now there are 6 professionals of the Clusid community that are playing a role of tutor for these students. It's an online tutoring, of course. They meet on a regular basis with the students to check how they are going and to teach them how to deal with the external professional world. I mean, that for them is a very big jump. Okay, and we will go on. We will go in Kenya in September to talk to the largest companies in Kenya to check if there is an interest in these guys, to ensure that after ending the school, they immediately start a job, maybe a 6-month job or 1-year job, it doesn't matter, but they start immediately. And then to check if these companies are interested in defining the next year training course, which topics if they can supply some teachers, for instance, make some presentation and so on. And okay, this is what we are doing. It's just a start, of course, but we will go on because developing competencies is a key issue, and also for us, looking at Africa is a way to start working with them. Just few words to finish about CLUSIT. CLUSIT has been founded at the beginning of year 2000, that is 26 years ago. So it's a long-term initiative. It's an association, no profit, of course. And now, and this is very interesting, the associates of CLUSIT are more than 700 companies and professionals in Italy. So I mean, a very large part. And building a connection between this large community of Italian professionals and a part of Africa. Africa is very huge, it's very difficult for everybody to talk to Africa as a whole, of course. The case brought us to Kenya, and we started from there. But building a relation which is between such a big community of Italian professional and Africa is a way to focus on what we have just said on the Mattei Plan or other initiatives that are in place, that Africa and Europe need to find a way to work together and to develop together, also on the cybersecurity issues.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for the intervention, and thank you also for the initiative that has started as a voluntary initiative.
Matteo came,
Yes.
and not only Matteo came to the college.
I've seen myself in person the excellent job that they are doing in this community, and we thought that this was a good example of a possible initiative to strengthen relationship with the African continent. Last intervention from Fondazione Amaldi and Lorenzo Scatena. Also, Fondazione Amaldi is another associate of Cyber 4.0 that also has plans to develop initiative in Africa. So we want to hear about it. Lorenzo, please.
Thank you, thank you. It is a pleasure to be here today. 1 year ago, I presented on behalf of Fondazione Amaldi our program Cyber Pro Train, and was the initial scope of my, let's say, speech, presentation. But I decided to change because the program itself changed. The KPI was to reach, it's a capacity building program, and the KPI was to reach at least 1,000 professionals in Europe, and in 3 years. And after 1 year, we already enrolled 500 professionals. So we decided to make a step forward and to open a new chapter related to this kind of activity under Fondazione Amaldi General Capacity Building Program. Okay, so I'm here presenting Orbit Shield Africa. It is a program that it's already started, looking even for partnerships in that sense, and we know that we count on with the support of Cyber 4.0. As well as for Cyber Pro Train. So I want also I would like to thank Cyber 4.0 for 0.0 for the invitation and organization of this roundtable. At this point of the conference, a lot has been already said or touched, so it's not easy to come back, and it's not easy to summarize it in 8 minutes. 6 minutes now, so I'll do my best to present you some of the facts and the evidences that led us into involving us in this program. These numbers are taken from the 4th Interpol Africa Cyber Threat Assessment Report 2025. The most of you are probably already aware of it. It is not use to impress people. I'm using them to keep this conversation grounded in verified facts. So the issue is that Africa holds the world record for the rise in weekly cyber attacks on organization, plus 23% year on year. And one African organization in 15 is hit by ransomware every week, compared to 1 in 31 globally. More than 50% of African countries have reported ransomware attacks on their critical infrastructure. And what is more interesting is that none of these countries had a SATCOM backup channel. In fact, this is the real issue. Let me start with a question that we usually ask to cybersecurity events. How many of the critical infrastructure I want to protect depend right now on a satellite that I never, or you never seen, built with components no one has certified, orbiting 500 kilometers above our heads. For most European countries, the answer is many. For African countries, almost all. So this is the big problem driven by modern satellite technologies. For 20 years, the space industry has followed a model that is brilliant in its efficiency, standard commercial components, so-called COTS, so commercial off-the-shelf, to build, launch, and operate satellites quickly at a low cost. And these, as a consequence of that, the price for kilogram to orbit fell down from $100,000 per kilo to $7,000 per kilo. So this model created a democratization of space access, but also led to systematic vulnerability. And recent global conflicts have made urgent and visible the need to solve it. Because when a satellite built with commercial software or components is connected to a power grid or a port system or a telecommunication system, this satellite becomes an unprotected attack vector. So protecting infrastructure, digital infrastructure from attacks coming from space or related to the space vertical was also the aim of Cyber Protrain project. Why this is so important to us? Basically, I represent here the Fondazione Amaldi that has been established in 2017 by the Italian Space Agency and operate as ESA, European Space Agency Ambassador for Business Application and Space Solutions. So we aim to fostering, or better saying, translate space technologies into operational value for industry, institutions, and communities. So we are not here, we are not doing traditional cybersecurity. We are just looking at what is happening on the orbit. Two programs and a geographical area has been already underlined as essential, so the Mattei plan, I'm not coming on that, and the ECOVAST area, that is, I suppose, quite, it is quite known, and Ghana is a key reference point into this landscape. To address this specific challenge, we divide the problem into 3 pillars that I tried to list here. The pillar 1, so the orbital resilience, so related to ransomware attacks on energy and water networks that are today among the most serious threats to the operational continuity of states. The pillar 2 related to supply chain integrity, and the pillar 3 related to space intelligence related to the true cyber physical resilience requirements. 44 seconds. We decided to adapt our program to 200 professional upskilling or reskilling activities in the next 36 months. Starting now, we are in month 2, working on this roadmap, mapping priority countries, exploring through partnership agreements which possibilities there are also to maximize impact and set up functional governance. After that, as is already shown on the slide, from month 4 to month 18, we deliver 200 trained professionals in 3 to 5 pilot countries. Mutual benefits for Italy among Europe and Africa. 500 kilometers above us is where our collaboration begins, and Africa, especially for the so-called leapfrogging effect, can distinguish itself for the next way to protect infrastructures from space threats.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So we've seen 4 different contexts, 4 different actors, 4 different approaches also to the African continent. But of course, the underlying, I would say, message is that this is the time to find ways to strengthen cooperation, because there is a compelling need on one side of cybersecurity in the African continent, but also there are several opportunities for European and Italian players to expand their ties and strengthen cooperation with a very fast-growing geographical area. So I thank once again the speakers of this panel. We will not have a second round for the interest of time, and I would leave the floor to the next session, the next 2 sessions that will be coordinated by my colleague Pietro Trebisonda. So thank you once again, and I call Pietro here to announce the speakers. Thank you.